Hello, everyone. I'd like to invite you on a tour of the most incredible, indispensable, and sometimes infuriating thing you own, your memory. It's the vast library of your mind, containing every experience, every learned fact, and every mastered skill. This library doesn't just store information, it is the very foundation of your identity and your ability to think. Try to imagine a life without memory, no past, no learned lessons, no sense of self. It's unfathomable. Every thought you have, every decision you make, from reasoning through a problem to assessing a risk, is built entirely upon the contents of your memory. But let's be honest, this incredible system is also deeply imperfect. We've all had those moments, the frustrating tip of the tongue phenomenon, the maddening search for misplaced keys, or the sudden blank at an ATM. So, what's really going on? How does memory work, why does it fail us, and how can we work with it? That's our journey for the next 8 minutes. We'll explore memory as a process, break down its different types, and see how it all comes together and sometimes falls apart in our daily lives. The 3-stage process, a chain with 3 links. Let's start by understanding memory as a process. It's not a single action but a chain of 3 critical links: encode, store, and retrieve. A break at any link means the memory is lost. Let's explore each link with our ATM pin example. First, encoding. This is the moment of first contact where you translate sensory information into a brain-friendly format. Imagine you just got a new debit card and set your PIN to $39.91. But you were distracted, maybe you were on the phone or thinking about your next errand. You tried to memorize it by just repeating the sounds, 3991. This is using a weak acoustic code. Contrast that with strong encoding. If you linked it to something meaningful, a semantic code like the year my sister was born, 1993, but backwards, 3991, that connection creates a much richer, stickier memory trace. The principle here is simple. The depth and meaning of your initial processing determines the memory's future strength. Second, storage. After encoding, the memory must be consolidated and retained over time. Think of that weak acoustic trace of 3991. Without rehearsal or a meaningful structure, it's like writing in the sand at low tide. Over the week, the trace simply decays and fades away, never making the transition from fragile short-term holding into durable long-term storage. Sleep, by the way, is a critical part of this consolidation process. Storage is where memories either stabilize or vanish. Third, retrieval. This is the moment of truth, accessing the stored information. At the ATM under pressure, you're attempting unaided recall. There's no hint, no cue. If you had created that semantic link, the cue might be your sister's face or the thought birth year. Keypad itself could then trigger the memory. Without a cue, you're stuck. Retrieval is highly context-dependent. It's easier when you're in the same state or environment where you encoded the memory. So, when you forget, the failure point could be at any of these 3 stages. But most often, the root cause is a failure at the very beginning, weak encoding. If you don't learn it well initially, you can't store it robustly, and you certainly can't retrieve it later. This process is the backbone of all memory. The different filing cabinets, your brain's specialized systems. Now, your brain isn't just one big storage unit. It's more like a highly organized office with different filing cabinets for different kinds of information. Let's open these cabinets and meet the key players. First, episodic memory. This is your personal autobiographical scrapbook. It records the specific episodes of your life, the what, where, and when. It's rich with sensory detail and emotion. For example, remembering the vivid feeling of your high school graduation, the heat of the sun, the sound of a specific speech, the mix of pride and nervousness you felt. Another example, recalling exactly what you talked about with a friend over coffee last weekend. or visualizing the moment you opened a surprise gift down to the color of the wrapping paper. Episodic memory is what allows you to mentally time travel and relive your personal past. Second, semantic memory. This is your internal Wikipedia. It stores general world knowledge, concepts, and facts that aren't tied to a specific personal experience. It's the meaning behind things. For instance, knowing that Paris is the capital of France, or recalling the wrench as one of the tools you usually use, or remembering the objective fact that a square has 4 equal sides. You don't remember the moment you learned these things, you just know them. This is the memory system we rely on for language, facts, and ideas. Third, procedural memory. This is your body's know-how, your skill memory. It's often called muscle memory, though it's really in the brain. It's the memory for how to do things. Think about the automatic skill of typing on a keyboard without looking at the keys. Or the fluent sequence of movements to tie your shoelaces, a task that's incredibly hard to describe in words but easy to do. Or the integrated actions of driving a car, steering, shifting, braking that eventually becomes second nature. This memory system is slow to learn but incredibly resilient once mastered. We can also group memory into 2 overarching modes of operation. Explicit memory is the conscious, intentional recall of information. You know you're searching your memory. Examples include deliberately trying to remember dates for a history test, or consciously running through your mental grocery list, or recounting the plot of a movie to a friend. It's declarative memory, you can declare it. Implicit memory is the unconscious, automatic influence of past experience on your present behavior. You're not trying to remember, the memory is guiding you without your awareness. This includes priming. If you hear the word yellow, you'll later recognize the word banana faster. Conditioning. Feeling a wave of anxiety when you smell antiseptic at a doctor's office due to past experiences. Procedural skills. Your fingers finding the correct guitar chords while your conscious mind focuses on singing the lyrics. Understanding these systems helps us see why we can be great at one memory task and terrible at another. Memory in the real world, a team sport. In reality, our memories don't operate in isolation. Almost everything we do is a complex concert conducted by multiple memory systems working together. Let's look at a few rich examples. First, diagnosing a patient. When a doctor sees a patient, they are performing a memory symphony. Semantic memory provides the textbook knowledge, disease symptoms, medication side effects. Episodic memory recalls details from this patient's history and similar past cases. Procedural memory guides the hands during a physical exam, the specific feel of a palpation. Potential error. Here, implicit memory can cause a critical lapse. If a doctor has seen 3 flu cases in a row, they might be primed to diagnose a 4th, potentially overlooking subtler signs of meningitis. This shows how past experience can unintentionally bias present judgment. This example shows that memory is a team sport. When the team works in harmony, we perform complex tasks seamlessly. When one system dominates or fails, errors occur. Conclusion: the living story of you. So, what have we discovered? Memory is not a perfect video recorder. It's a dynamic time-based process of encode, store, and retrieve. It's a collection of specialized systems, episodic, semantic, procedural, explicit, and implicit, that work in concert to navigate our world. It is fundamental to everything we are and everything we do, yet it is inherently reconstructive and fallible. The beauty of this understanding is that it empowers us. We are not passive victims of forgetfulness. By understanding memory's weaknesses, like the need for deep encoding or the perils of autopilot, we can develop strategies to support it. We can build better cues, create meaningful connections, and design our environments and habits to work in harmony with our cognitive architecture. Your memory is the ongoing living story of you. It's imperfect, yes, but it's also adaptable, powerful, and uniquely human. Treat it with curiosity, nurture it with good strategies, and appreciate the incredible complexity behind even the simplest act of remembering. Thank you.